So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones out, coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it. My bones out, coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
pieces is a form of art.
I'm never gonna look back, 'cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, y'all. Howdy. Happy Friday, June 6th. It is late here, 9:30 p.m. just about. Welcome to those of you in the chat. I haven't been around a lot this week on video just because, well, we'll go into all that in just a few minutes. Anya, howdy. Surviving traumatic brain injury. I like it. You are first, my friend. Welcome. YOLO Ono. What's up, governor? Anya, is the audio any better with the microphone than the song that was playing? And we should try one other song and see, because I have them in separate videos, if it's your audio or if it was that song. Lawrence Cap, what's up? What day is earnings? Wednesday, the 10th. GameStop earnings is the 10th. And yeah, I want to talk about Trump and Elon, maybe catch up on the news. What's going on with those two fisticuffs? Two big egos. I was wondering how long it would take for that little bromance to crack, even though it seemed like it was in pretty solid ground. And a strange thought hit me as I was doing one of my exercise walks this afternoon. It kind of reminded me of a retail stock trading group. You know how the longer they're together, eventually they start attacking each other. We saw that in AMC this week too. I saw AMC's #1 fan, Mehul Rao, good old Mehul, who probably watches 300 movies a year and spends, I don't know how much money on merch and food. He posts his, I was thinking maybe Mehul is just buying the tickets and not going, but he posts his credits from AMC. I don't know how many credits he has, like 1 million of them. You don't get those if you're not showing up and scanning your ticket. The AMC, some of the fringe elements of the pack attacking Mehul this week with maybe a fake LinkedIn profile. I don't know if it's fake or not, but it has a bunch of job listings, and then way at the bottom it says JP Morgan. Mehul, did you work at JP Morgan 20 years ago as a QA analyst? You're here now to sabotage AMC by watching all them movies and promoting the cinema industry. How dare you, sir? I mean, we've come to this point where we're attacking people for watching movies, guys. Every retail community that I've watched, eventually they turn on each other. But wow, to turn on as far as I'm concerned, the #1 guy. I don't agree sometimes with Mihul. You know, he's way over the top with some of his predictions, but he's excited, and I appreciate the promotion of the movie industry and the movies. And as someone who loves movies myself, I can certainly appreciate that. I post when I go to movies too, and I try and give you guys realistic estimates of the box office. But man, that guy puts me to shame as far as his promotion of this industry. So AMC shareholders turning on each other. Trump and Elon turning on each other. Does anybody see any similarities there? The longer you're in the same room, eventually you turn on them. Who gave Elon the black eye, Anya? I read a name a week ago and I already forgot who it was. Matt says, are you going to take a stab at Tesla now that it's coming back down? Yes, absolutely. I've been watching that Tesla stock going down. I didn't watch it today. 295. We'll pull up the chart here in a second. But yeah, you know, if you guys remember what I've said once or twice over the years with these sky high PE ratio tickers, where they're running on enthusiasm and speculative frenzy, and the PE ratios are ridiculously high. I would rather wait for a stumble than be buying at the top, like $300, $400, $500. I like a stumble down to close to 200. Last time I bought GameStop cheap, I think I got it close to, yeah, right around here, 101. That buy note isn't on this chart anymore, but this was a beautiful entry on Tesla. Of course, I sold it into this run up. I've done some swing trading and options trading in the meantime, but I don't like buying Tesla when it's running up like this. Shoulda probably bought some down here. Maybe it'll come back down. I'd be all right with 225. I'd be a lot better at 145 or 100, but I don't know. Depends on if old Trumpy and Mr. Musk make up or not. Yolo Ono says, has the political landscape in reality become more entertaining than fiction? In some ways, Yolo Ono, yes. And the sad thing to me is, like, the Democrats, all they got to do is stand back now. Stand back, pull up a chair. You know that meme where you pop the chair and then pop your beer? All they got to do is sit back and watch the fucking fireworks. What are we doing to ourselves, guys? Come on, Elon. Come on, Donald. Get me in there. Let me get these two gentlemen in a room and explain why this is not good for either one of them or the country. Anya says, I'll get back in Tesla at 163. Tito, listening as always, but I'm at work, hospital life. Thank you for tuning in, Tito. Speaking of hospitals, Mediocre told me this morning I'm probably going to die from Legionnaire's disease. So if I'm not around in a week, you know, it's been nice knowing y'all. No symptoms yet, but we'll see. We'll see. I had a little. I've been doing a lot of shit around here, around the ranch. Besides a lot of my free hours this week, let's say we got studying for the Series 65, we got researching umpteen million stocks, we got trading, we got running my other businesses. Now, occasionally, if I can, you know, working on the guitar practice, and now, you know, I decided January 1st to get in my fitness and nutrition back in shape. And I loosely had some calisthenics goals, you know, stupid stuff, 10 pull-ups, a muscle up, handstand push-ups, you know, plus some other things to hit all parts of your body. And I realized that if I didn't have a plan, having goals is kind of pointless, because a goal is good, but you and this goes to all aspects of your life. Like, I used to have a goal of buying a 31-foot Sea Ray cabin cruiser. I couldn't afford it at the time, but I put the picture up on my mirror and on my work desk when I had my corporate job. Every day I had to look at that thing and think about what was my plan to be able to afford that boat, which at the time when I bought it, I don't know what it cost. 130, I think, 130,000. That was back in about 98. I devised a plan to jump start my career job level hopping to get to a point where I could get salary and or bonuses to afford that boat. And within 3 years, maybe less, maybe 2, I had that damn boat. Set a goal, but set a plan. Like, it drives me nuts, these people that, oh, I have a dream board. Great. It's just dreams if you don't have a plan to get there. Taking this back to fitness, I have all these goals of things that I would like to do, but you can't just go out and exercise for an hour or 2 randomly if you want to achieve specific high difficulty level calisthenics goals. Like say, I'm just going to throw a couple out there, like a one-arm pull-up or a muscle up where you're pulling your entire body over the bar and then doing a dip on top of the bar. Handstand push-ups. I mean, there's a bunch. You cannot just attack that without a plan. So between Grok and my previous training and experience, I spent the better part of this week devising a 6-day training plan and implementing it and then tweaking it as I found, no, I'm not ready to do a negative dragon flag just yet. That's hurting my back a little bit. Okay, so do leg lifts. Same, works on the same core muscles, but not as much lumbar strain in week 1, you know. That was a good chunk of my week, but now that work is out of the way. Getting the plan written out and following it. I'm on day 5 of week 1. I got a small workout tomorrow. I think it's core. And then Sunday is rest. My wife said, why do you have 3-mile run on Sunday when it says rest? I was like, well, you got a good point there. It does say on the footnote, if I'm fatigued, don't do this. She said, no, take that off. Have a damn rest day, Tony, for once in your life. You already work 20 hours a day. Now you're going to try and exercise 7 hours a day? Don't be stupid. You're damn near 90 years old. Can't argue with that logic. I mean, what are you going to do? Speaking of Legionnaires, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Mediocre did tell me I was probably going to die from Legionnaire's disease. We're getting to that story in just a minute. I had to catch you up on, oh, you want to see the fitness? I'll just throw it up here. This is the calisthenics chart from beginner to super advanced movement. If you want to see it, you know, go watch the video I did on June 1st. And then this is my high level workout planner. 2 or 3, 4 things on each day. This takes hours to some days, like Monday's probably 2-hour workout. I'll know more next week how long it takes. This week, it was try to do the exercises. If something wasn't working, go back to Grok. Grok is an excellent fitness trainer, by the way. If something wasn't working, I told Grok what my goals were, my age, my health status, beginner, you know, and my weight. And then I said, develop a routine for each of these body parts to meet these goals. And it did. And then I put each one into a weekly routine, its own, you know, 5-10 pages each one. So that's where we're at with the fitness thing. Now the hard work is done. Now I just got to follow the plan, adjust as necessary, make sure I'm eating right, not overworking myself. Sundays look good to me, Anya says. Yeah. Oh man, Anya. The ultimate goal really is just to get to sub 15% body fat. Keeping in mind, I was at 31% on January 1st. I'm at 20 now. I'm getting skinnier, but still a little bit. There's an extra inch on the waist. Better than 3 inches, though, let me tell you. All right, Legionnaire's disease is a disease that you often hear about on cruise ships. No, I have not been on a cruise this week, but we did have a little bit of air conditioning problem here in the ranch house this week. Yesterday it just stopped running. The outside condenser unit just quit. I was like, oh shit, let me go out there, pull the panel off. I'm not an AC tech, all right? I know just the very basics of refrigeration, but I do have, besides my college degree in economics and finance and business, I have another degree in electronics. I did work in the high-tech industry as an engineering manager for 15 years. So I know a little bit about how to use a meter, how electronics work. It's the whole Freon shit that, you know, I don't know shit about it. I know what an evaporator coil is and a condenser coil. I know how they work together, but I don't have the gauges to check Freon. And even if I did, they keep on making shit illegal. Oh, you can't use this one. You got to. No. Anyways, I went out to the outside unit and let me pull the panel off. I'll check the capacitors because, you know, it's Texas. Sometimes we get fire ants will get up in there and they'll short out a capacitor. They just go bad because it's hot as hell. But the capacitors seemed okay. And then there's a contactor which takes the signal 2 wires from your thermostat. When it detects that the thermostat is trying to turn on, like turn on your AC, that contactor engages. You get 24 volts across it. And there's a little test button on that thing. You got to be careful. You don't want to electrocute yourself, but you can push that test button in, and I checked. I did not have 24 volts from the thermostat. But if I pushed the contactor, the compressor outside would come on and the fan. I was like, aha. All right, I got a thermostat issue. Why? Again, I'm not an expert. I'm like, I got a brand new Google Nest thermostat. It's only a year old, been working fine. I put it in. I went up and checked the wiring on it inside. That's fine. What else could it be? All right, let's go in the attic. There is a emergency drain pan underneath your air handler in the attic. And my pan does not have a drain, but it does have a float switch. If water builds up in there, that float switch, just like in your toilet, goes up and it shuts off what? It shuts off the current from the thermostat to the condenser outside. That was the problem. That emergency drain pan was completely full of water, about 1.5 inches. Luckily, the float switch worked, or I'd be replacing a ceiling too. But I had to get the water out of there. So my first thought was just go, I've got a huge ass shop vac, 16-gallon shop vac. It's like I could haul that thing all the way from the garage, all the way upstairs, all the way to the attic. Or I could just get a bucket and use a little 4-foot section of clear plastic tubing I have here and siphon the water out of there with my mouth. That's what I did. I siphoned the nasty water out of that pan. Just, suck it and then spit it into the bucket and then drop the hose in there and off you go. It drained the pan just fine into the bucket. It had to do 2 rounds, about 3 gallons of water. Mediocre. When I told him that later, he's like, buddy, you ever heard of Legionnaire's disease? Like, that's where that shit lives. That bacteria lives in that fucking nasty ass water. He said, next time get your shop vac. Oh, all right. All right. Anyways, I drained the water out, and the AC running like a champ now. But that pan should only be getting water in it if what? Your primary or secondary lines are clogged. These fucking people that built this house 30 years ago did not put a clean out port on the PVC pipe coming out of the air handler, so I have no way to blow out the PVC pipe. Any of y'all who've done this, you know what I'm talking about. You should go up there and blow it out or suction it out, drop some vinegar and water in there. Anyways, I did at that point, I pulled the shop vac out to the backyard, got my ladder. I've got about a 15-foot hose on that thing with a little cone adapter, and I stuck it up in that PVC drain up in the eave outside the house, and I suctioned that pipe from the outside for a good minute till I heard all the gurgling stop. And yeah, now it's draining like a champ. Now that other second line from the air handler, I have no idea where that goes. Should theoretically go over your bathtub or something, or over a sink. I don't know. It's going off some other direction in my attic. So tomorrow morning's job is put my little head flashlight on and go trace that puppy down. See where it's draining to. Yeah, YOLO Ono. Shoddy builders. I'm imagining that not having a clean out and not having the backup pan have any drain. Those were probably not code 30 years ago when this house was built. My previous house, I built, and it definitely had a drain in the drain pan, and it had clean out ports. So I know that competent builders, modern day builders, put that stuff in. It's got to be code now, but probably not when this house was built. I think this house was built in the early 80s. Anyways, that's my fun AC story. We had a whole night without air conditioning, but thanks to very good relatives, Scarlett's uncle loaned us a big ass, about the size of, your garbage can, a big ass portable AC unit on wheels. You just hook the exhaust vent to your window, and then the unit standing there in the middle of our bedroom, we just close the door, and yeah, we slept fine last night. But the house, oh my gosh, hot and humid as fuck last night until I got it. I got the problem root caused solution this morning. and avoided by a little bit of what we call sweat equity, which you guys know I love to tinker around, fixing cars and carpentry shit, trying to figure out air conditioning shit. Saved who knows how much, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. That's a couple shares of GameStop right there, ladies and gentlemen, that I did not have to spend on an AC Tech. And I always recommend, if you're able-bodied and able-minded, you can figure out a lot of shit on YouTube around your house, around your vehicle. You might need a little patience. You're probably going to make a couple mistakes. And honestly, Grok is pretty damn smart. I'm not going to lie. You put your problem in Grok. It's pretty good at coming up with some very reasonable suggestions and solutions. Benjamin, good evening to you. Michael Anthony says Sound AI could be going to run. Report on Thursday saying they had more growth than Palantir. We're going to have to check that one out. So, yeah. Well, anyways, knock on wood about the Legionnaire's disease. I did not tell my wife about that. You know, I don't need her worrying. But, yeah, if I start feeling feverish or have chills, I'm going straight to the hospital. They said 2 to 10 days is the incubation period. Maybe I got lucky and maybe nothing in my attic. The other thing that kills people here, what's that damn thing you can get from rats and mice? If you have, I don't have a rat or mice problem in my attic, but I think that's called the hantavirus. If you're around where rodents are or picking up droppings or whatever, you can get some deadly virus. Keith, we're about to transition now that I got all my blabbering done about my week, why I haven't been around much. We're about to talk about Elon and Trump and GameStop and Tesla and whatever else y'all want to talk about for an hour or so. Let's talk GameStop. Let me put up that chart. GameStop. Let's look at, there's our weekly. We crashed up into the supply zone a week ago. We bounced off of it. These have been, so far, they've been holding true since December. I know you got GameStop YouTubers saying it's going to $40 or $50. I don't know about all that. I'm not here to pump you up. I'm here to tell you the non-emotional logical analysis that I do. And there's a reason I draw supply and demand zones, not Doritos and other bullshit. I don't have to adjust my little lines every week like these goofballs do on the GameStop YouTuber channel. Oh, it's never going to go below this line. Oh, the next day, let me just lower that line a little bit, Tony DeNaro. Let me lower it a little bit more. Sorry. Yeah, you're just embarrassing yourself, kids. Stop it. Supply zone, demand zone, resistance and support. Very basic concepts. We bounced off. We bounced all the way down. We bounced back. And now we're headed back down. Earnings is on Tuesday. Depending on the results, it's either going to do what? It's going to stay flat? Is it going to go up? Or is it going to go down? Depending, I can't tell you which one, because it depends on what they announce. But let's walk through a couple of thoughts in case you guys didn't catch our last GameStop live stream a couple days ago, where we looked at profitability by segment, by quarter. By segment, I mean US, Canada, Europe, Australia. We saw and we see going back years, including last year, in Q1, every segment was not profitable, including the US. We also have heard from Ryan Cohen and seen the evidence that over a year now, if you look at a full year, the US is profitable for GameStop. That, my friends, does not mean we should assume Q1, which is typically a very low revenue quarter, we should not assume as a given that Q1 is going to be profitable in the US. Core operations, I'm talking. I would love it if it is. I'd love it if they crank down the cost structure such that Q1 is profitable in the US. That would be a fantastic bullish announcement. However, I think it's reasonable to expect that there will be a loss in the core business in Q1. An outside chance that that is incorrect and that there'll be a profit, but I would give that very low probability. Even if the US was profitable, you still got the drag of France, you got the drag of Canada, you got the drag of Australia, New Zealand. So let's just say high probability is core operations will be a loss. And we know that with all the cash the company has, they're going to earn interest at around 4.25. So that's on the money they have. I'm just going to estimate 60 to 65 million in interest. That's not profits. That is interest income. So when people say GameStop's profitable, no, it's not profitable. You don't understand what a profit is. It has interest income, which is fine. It will give them positive earnings. I'm quite certain Q1 will be positive earnings for GameStop thanks to interest income. Not a profitable company in Q1, but it will be net positive on net income, I think. And then Bitcoin, other things to think about for Tuesday. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, Tuesday. Bitcoin, did they buy it at 100, 105, 95? Or did they buy it at 74, 80, 85, 90, all the way up? I put out a video where I said in my mind, trying to be a logical person, I found a way where they could have been buying Bitcoin as cheap as $74,000 a coin. Yes, I do think there is a possibility that could be. Am I going to bank on it? Am I going to buy call options, 0 DTE? It won't be 0, but am I going to buy call options next week, expiring next week on the hope that they announced that they bought Bitcoin at 74,000? No. Because maybe they didn't. I see a lot of people assuming they did. That's fine if you just, if you're holding the stock and you want to assume that, that's fine. But like promoting that idea to encourage people to buy call options and then you're wrong because the company hasn't said anything. You're just speculating, which I did speculate too. But in that video I did a week ago, I said they could have, but I also think that you should not count on that as a given. It'd be a bonus for me. It'd be a bonus if they have profitable core operation or even a profitable Q1. It would be a bonus if they had a cheap buy-in on Bitcoin, because that will boost earnings a little bit also from unrealized gain. So if both of those things are true, then you could have a massive green candle next week. Is massive, does that take us beyond this supply zone? I don't know. $34. But if we can break out and hold above here, that would be pretty bullish. It would have to be, it would, I think, be driven by some expectation that earnings are dramatically going to be changing. That's how you get the next leg up. Right now, GameStop is stuck in this, it's trading at about 2 times book. And that means that your fallback, if the company were to go kaput, you've paid 2x the assets of the company, and it could reasonably fall down to 14, 15 bucks. Now, that's not going to happen. GameStop's not going bankrupt, but I hear people say, oh, 2x book is great. That's a deal. Look at Palantir, it's 20 book or whatever. Doesn't matter how many times it's trading on book, unless you're worried about it going under book. That is the only time I want to hear any of you talking about book value, is if you're looking at it like Roaring Kitty did in 2020, early 2021, when it was trading under book value. That is a deep fucking value. This right here is a inflated stock price with speculation built in. This is not deep fucking value. You do not analyze this based on, oh, it's trading 2x book. That is bullshit, pumper nonsense, as bad as any Bed Bath & Beyond nonsense that the GameStop people pump out on a daily basis to justify their over purchases of this stock at a overinflated high price. I like buying it. You can see my last one down there, 21 bucks. I'm never going to come in here and tell you 33, 40 is a good price. Why? Because there's no earnings yet to justify that price. The earnings can't even justify a $14 price. That's why the stock is fair valued at book. There's not enough earnings to justify $14. But Tony, there could be earnings. Okay, I agree. We're on the same page there. But now we are doing what? We're speculating on the potential of unknown earnings with a company that is not communicating any strategy or giving any guidance. You are rolling the dice for a miracle, which may or may not happen. I hope it does. But just call it what it is, and we'll all be on the same page. You are making a speculative bet in case they get those earnings pumped up. And if that's how you want to trade, that's perfectly fine with me. I have no beef with anyone that wants to trade that way. I do have beef with people that say it's worth $34, $40, $50 right now. No, absolutely not. Go take a finance class. Go take an accounting class. Learn how to do a earnings-based valuation or a asset-based valuation. The same thing that any professional analyst would do. Oh, but Tony, all the analysts they're in the they're in the bag for the evil hedge funds. No, they're not. It's the same methodology, guys, for every single stock. You look at the earnings, take a reasonable PE ratio, you impute a target price for the stock. If there's no earnings, well, you're fucked. If they have no revenue or a loss, you're fucked. You're just spitting in the wind trying to come up with a target price. GameStop has earnings, so we can come up with a reasonable price target. But it's not 30 bucks. Not even close. I'm fine gambling on GameStop stock, but I'm telling you, I am speculating and I am managing my risk. And I think that Ryan Cohen's doing a great job, and the company's not going bankrupt. It's not a bad investment at the right price. The higher you pay, the more you're increasing your own risk. If anything bad happens in the economy, company news, if good things happen, then, I'll be happy because I buy at 21, and you'll be happy because you bought at 31, but I'll be a little happier. Just saying. If earnings meet expectations next week, probably trade flat. If there's any unexpected good news, could very well trade up. I'd love to see that for everybody. And if we find out that they had a loss for the quarter and they bought Bitcoin at 105, 110,000, I would think that, you got a reasonable chance that the price goes down. They could also drop some other new news on Tuesday, like, hey, we just bought another 500 million of Bitcoin. And that might get people interested again. People were speculating on a Bitcoin dividend. I don't really see that happening. Like, how do you issue a Bitcoin dividend? Everybody's got to have a wallet. You're going to try and corral 400 million shares worth of holders, and we can't give you your dividend because you didn't have a wallet. Sorry. Sparky, what's up? What are we saying? Split for my calisthenics routine or split for GameStop stock? Sparky, what are we saying here? Yes, JP, I agree with you. Ryan Cohen, we watched this live on a live stream a couple nights ago. He absolutely said GameStop is profitable in the US. And I would say, since he didn't say anything explanatory about that, he meant on an annual basis, which means Q1 will be a loss and Q4 will more than compensate for that loss. So on the annual basis, the company is profitable. He didn't lie, but he gave you just enough info to draw your own assumptions, which may or may not be correct. It's like when AMC says we will be cash flow positive for the rest of this year. Does that mean they're going to be cash flow positive in Q3 or just Q3, Q2, and Q4? And even if they're a little negative in Q3, Q2 and Q4 make up for it, and then technically the statement is correct. They're cash flow positive for the year. And then to peel back another layer on that for AMC, what kind of cash flow is he talking about? Is he talking, he didn't say. Is he talking operating cash flow positive or free cash flow positive? Again, when these CEOs leave out details, retail traders love to create their own explanations. And I don't think that these CEOs speaking in gray generalities is an accident. They want to lead you to create your own narrative because you're going to go for the most bullish explanation. I'm going to go for the most conservative explanation, and that is only from the fucking school of hard knocks from the last 3 years of trying to think everything's positive and then realize, fuck, man, I created my own interpretation of what they said. They didn't lie. We created our own interpretation. All we had to do was read and not read too much into it. Sparky's got his son's wedding. Congrats, Sparky. Are you on a plane or you're leaving on a plane? Croatia? Or, oh, really? Wow. International festival in Croatia every summer, which I haven't been to yet. If I ever were single, gentlemen, if you're single, you should go check that out. Yeah, I mean, only if you like single ladies from Sweden, Britain, Spain, Russia, Ukraine, Germany, all wearing bikinis for 2 weeks, doing sensual dancing with you on the beach there. Thousands of them. Kurt loves that place. I hear all the stories. I met my wife right before I was about to go to the first one of those. Anywho, I think we've kind of gone through all of my vomit of thoughts on GameStop. Long and short of it is, I think a lot of people are making assumptions that are very bullish, which may or may not come true. I hope they do for everybody's sake. But wouldn't surprise me if they don't come true for Q1. And so I'm not making any firm predictions on what happens with the price. And we'll be watching it and crossing our fingers for everybody. I get really excited about two things: a breakout above the supply zone, or a test of the demand zone where I can buy cheap again. If we can get bullish momentum pushing through this, I'd even if it's 33, 34 bucks, if there's news so good that it drives it above this, I will probably buy some, even though it's speculative. I got to factor the news in, but it could run for a day or two if we get a breakout, maybe even more. I don't know. I ain't saying that's going to happen, but these are the two things I'm watching for: breakout above the supply zone, or a retest of the demand, which is around. Should probably have my alarm set for anything under 22 bucks. And hope that this zone holds. JP says he also said at the end, do not follow GameStop. See, that I like that about you, JP. You're being reasonable and you're paying attention to everything they said. You're exactly right. Ryan doesn't want to get... the one thing about Ryan, by being quiet, even though it drives me nuts and a lot of other people, because we want guidance, and we want guidance. We want to know, what are your expectations for earnings? When he just says nothing, nobody can pin anything on him. Like, people get mad at Adam Aaron for all the tweeting. What does Ryan tweet? Nothing. So nobody can get mad at him. You just wake up one day and you got a dilution. You got a notice that you're buying Bitcoin. You got some convertible bonds. Anya says you need to drop a shitty ticker. You did it with D-Box F at 7 cents a week or so, and now it's at 21 cents. All right. I see you talking about that one, Anya. This is the Korean company that's selling the D-Box. Holy smokes. Look, right when we talked about it, Anya, it shot up, and it hasn't looked back since then. Woo! If only we could call them all this good, Anya. I don't remember when we were talking about it, but yeah, that's a nice run. This is the company that AMC is going to be installing the D-Box seats, right? Or no, is that a different company? It looks similar. D-Box F. Where's your website, D-Box? Uh-oh, they had a CEO change 2 days ago. What did that do? The price went up. Huh. That's unusual. Yeah, D-Box and Cinemark announced expansion. AMC announced a D-Box. All right, things are looking up. D-Box reaches 1,000 screens worldwide 4 months ago. Let's go D-Box. Do they have any? They have any earnings? Profile financials. They do have revenue. It's growing. It's doubled since 2022, and they have positive net income. I mean, what's not to like? Am I going to look at their cash balance and their book value? Fuck no, because no one cares, GameStop YouTubers. As long as the balance sheet is not insolvent, what we care about is, do they have earnings? What is their earnings projection over the next few years? Is it insolvent? No, they have positive working capital and they have positive shareholder equity. Great balance sheet. All right. So, Anya, you want to talk about some shitty tickers? D-Box. D-Box, if you imagine a theater row or the whole row moves and then squirts water in your face, and it's got fans, and it even got smells from the movie. Like a dinosaur farts. You get a dinosaur fart blow right in your nose. Hopefully you weren't eating popcorn right then. How do you eat popcorn when the seats are bouncing all over? You're like in the cockpit with Top Gun Maverick. I don't know. I mean, my wife says that we tried those seats one time. I haven't been to a theater other than AMC since 2020. And so I don't even remember going to the damn D-Box seat. She's like, yeah, we tried it with you, me, and Marcus, my son. And she said we none of us really thought it was something that we'd want to repeat. It's kind of like gimmicky, maybe right for the right movie. But I don't know how I feel about AMC installing these, but I guess we'll see. You know, if they got a good deal from D-Box, what's the harm? Speaking of other shitty stocks, Mullins, as Lawrence Harge calls it. What a roller coaster ride for Mullen. They did their number 6 reverse split. Another 100 for 1. If you had invested, what is that? You know, if you had invested like $1 trillion in Mullen in 2020, you'd have $6 right now. I'm not even shitting you. That's how many reverse splits this company has done. How can this be legal? People said. I agree. I mean, it is. Unfortunately, it is legal. Blame NASDAQ for not having tighter rules, but Mullen has complied with every SEC and NASDAQ ruling. Otherwise, these reverse splits wouldn't be continually get approved. We've seen them turn down other companies, right, over the years. So they must be complying with the rules and regulations. But good Lord, man, the people that held on to this poor thing have been absolutely wrecked. Even the people, you know, that just bought it a month ago, beginning of May, $29. In April, $160, $190. It's at $6. So, you know, it did have a run up this week. But, I mean, let's be real. If you held Mullen and your cost basis is 95, 100, 160, just because you bought in the last couple months, are you going to be super excited that it ran from 4 to 20 on Wednesday? No, because you're still down 80% from just your most recent buys, not to mention the 99.999 that you're down from any other purchase prior to that. But look at this. Look at this shit. So right after the reverse split, 2 days later, 2 days of trading flat. It tanks after the reverse split, trades flat for 2 days, and then boom, you wake up We woke up. Here's the only thing that I really observed. We woke up and the short interest cost to borrow had skyrocketed that morning to over 2,000% cost to borrow, plus a negative rebate of another 2,000% and change, making the effective borrow cost over 4,000%. If there was anybody short, you do not want to get stuck with a 4,000% cost to borrow. So some of them started closing. Maybe all of them. Why did the cost to borrow go up? That is the question that people need to ask. Maybe because the float dropped to 200,000 shares. There's literally no shares to loan out. So the lenders made it super expensive. That would be my guess. And once that, the cost to borrow gets assessed to your account, if you're short on a daily basis, it's an annualized rate, but I mean, one day at 4,000% will rock your world, and not in a good way. I think some of the shorts started covering. And this thing had massive volume. With a float of 200,000 shares, it traded traded 33 million times. 200,000 shares. That's, what's the turnover on that? Over 100x? Look at today's turnover. 700%. Holy fuck, man. The volume today was only 3.8 million. The volume on this day was 33 million. It's like a 7,000% turnover. Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. And people say, isn't that evidence of naked shorts? Maybe. Maybe it's just a lot of day traders that saw the shorts were fucked that day and ran the price up because it was cheap. I know a lot of day traders. I know a lot of big YouTuber day traders that go in huge positions every microsecond with their little hotkeys. Ding, 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 ding. It's still going up. I'm buying just bought another 1,000, bought 10,000. I went 50,000. It's easy to get high turnover on a low float stock. None of those day traders ever once say, guys, I'm going to have to exit this play because this thing's turned over the number of available shares 10 times today. That's obviously corruption or manipulation. No, the day traders do not complain about that because they're the fucking ones doing it. They're the ones creating them and all their followers. And every high-speed algo that's playing the run-up. And the more it goes up, the more shorts got to cover. It becomes a beautiful, self-fulfilling prophecy. But that is not sign of manipulation. And like I told the Discord that morning, I said there will be a point. I even said it on Twitter this morning. This morning on the 4th, I said, congrats if you were smart enough or lucky enough to buy in at $4 or $5. Consider today taking some profits off. You were at $23 when I tweeted out. Consider taking some profits off if you're up 4 or 5x. Because this is not going to last. Oh man, you would think that I showed up on X with the devil mask. Oh, there, Tony Denaro, here he goes again. We know you work for the shorts. You play the Mr. Nice Guy, but then you tell us to get out of the play. Motherfuckers, I want you to lock in some profits and end your day happy. Look what happened. Because you're arguing with me. Instead of taking profits, now you're back down at $6. but I'm the bad guy. Like, how topsy-turvy did this retail trading world get, where we're arguing with people trying to remind you to take profits? That's me. I don't hate any company, but I do hate seeing you guys cry for 3 years because you didn't sell into a run-up, and now the stock's tanked, and it's, you know, Mullen's going to turn on the dilution spigot, just a matter of time. It was my fault. Yeah, Anya, I'm watching a friend's dog, a golden doodle, I think he is. His name's Russ. We do not have a dog at the moment because, you know, we lost our dog, our little dachshund, around Christmas, although I have been thinking now about getting a dog. I don't know if I told y'all I was looking at, what's that freaking dog's name? Starts with a V. Starts with a V, right? It's got a V and a Z and a S. Can I buy a vowel? Anyways, the gentleman that was arguing with me about Mullen, I forget his name. He argued with me all day, called me every name in the book. He's an AMC investor too, just like, you know, I have been for the last 4 years. But he thinks I'm working for the bad guys because I was reminding people, hey, it's good to take profits. You don't want to be looking back with regret when the big red arrow comes. This one right here, which came 3 hours after my tweet, and then 2 more days of them. Yeah, Vizsla, thank you. Silent Solitude. I'm thinking about getting a Vizsla, and I think the wife is on board with it. Never have considered a Vizsla before. I was thinking like a King Corso or a Rottweiler, maybe a Black Lab. However, since I am trying to keep fitness on the top of mind, if I had a Vizsla, they are very well suited to long runs, jogs, walks, hikes in Texas hot weather. I don't mean hot like 105 in the middle of the day on August. I'm talking about like 80, 90 degrees in the morning. Vizsla will eat that shit right up like it was nothing. And if I have a dog that needs exercise, that will make me more likely to make sure I get out every day and do something. So that's why I'm thinking about that. But this gentleman that was calling me every name under the book on X for reminding you guys to take profits if you got a 5X runner. As soon as it started turning red, what did he do? He blocked me. He didn't want no more of that smoke. His argument fell to pieces, as they always do. Like, the one thing that I've learned over the last 3 or 4 years, number one, understand that there is, in whatever you think is going to happen, the chance that you might not be correct. I try and remember that every time I say something to you guys. I'm usually pretty confident when I say something, but I recognize that I am not infallible. There's always a chance that we get something wrong. This gentleman was convinced Mullen was going to $1,000. I'm certain of it. He wasn't going to sell for nothing. $20? No. I don't even know if he bought at $5, but he was there arguing with me all day on Wednesday. And the bad thing about people like him is he creates bag holders by his incessant jabbering about ride this thing to the moon. Mullen's going to kill the shorts. It's going to kick off AMC and GameStop. Mullen has no revenue. They almost have no cash. They have built-in toxic dilution. And the only reason they did the reverse split was so they could dilute immediately and raise more money as soon as the price ran up. You think that they're not diluting as soon as it hits $20? They haven't seen $20 in years. And they got 1 billion shares they can sell. I want you guys to be smart, not emotional like this poor gentleman that decided I was the bad guy on Wednesday. All the people, you know, the AMC and game. I wish someone would have told us, you know, in 2021 to take profits. Okay, I've been trying to do that on every ticker that I come across. If I see it moving up and we got a good entry and it is peaking out and peaking like the chart's peaking, and I tweet out, hey, might be a good time to think about taking a little off the table. It's not because I'm shorting a stock. It's not because I'm working for a hedge fund. It's by all of my viewers' requests and everybody in the fucking retail world that cries for 3 years, loses their family, loses their wife, loses their house because they're not taking profits when they should. So I'm going to be that little positive, gentle reminder in your ear. Hey, might want to think about taking some off. If you don't, it's no sweat off my back. I don't short stocks. I don't have a bet on Mullen to go down. I'd be happy if it went to 1,000, but it's not realistic. As we have said many times, ladies and gentlemen, you will get a lot further in this investment game if you can book every day, every week, frequent singles or doubles. You don't need to wait for the grand slam home run because that might take years. And if the outfielder catches it like they did here at $26 for Mullen, you are fucked. You're out. You thought that ball was going. You thought you were going to be rich, and then oops. I don't want to see you guys make oopsies. I want to see you happy. I want to say, thank God, Tony, you reminded me to get profits on this play. I can buy a new car. I can take my wife out to a steak dinner. Richie Rich says, took profits on U.S. Steel, bought at 41, sold at 54 with an acquisition price of 55. Yes, thank you. He says, I heard you. Amen. And yeah, if they're getting acquired for 55, 54.23 was a good exit. Richie. Anya says, finally a winner chicken dinner. APLD at 424, sold at 14.92. Oh my gosh, Anya. Let me see if I got
a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Yeah. We got some there we go. It's been so long since I used any sound effects. Get a cash register ring for Anya. Let's go. I heard someone whispering, take profit, she said. JP says, I remember a lot of YouTubers pumping BBIG and it turned out to be somewhat of a fraud. JP, I have a video that I had a viewer ask me in the BBIG run-up, Tony, what do you think about BBIG? This was years ago. And I put out a video, which was not popular at the time, probably because of the title, but it said, after I took a viewer request and I did my DD. I read the financial statements. I looked at the balance sheet. I looked at all the filings. And my video that I put out the next day said, why BBIG is going to tank. And it did. And I had every BBIG person in my comments. Tony, you just don't understand. We have a community. We have a website. I love bbig.com. Yeah, whatever their BBIG website is. I was like, that does not matter. The company is a train wreck. They're going to dilute, and they're probably going to go bankrupt. I also have created, by the way, guys, if I'm trying to take these little examples, I've created a new playlist called the Pump and Dump Diaries, and BBIG is episode number 1. I pulled snippets from live and video coverage I did years ago on various tickers, BBIG being one, telling you before it crashed that you were about to get fucked. I did the same thing for MMTLP. Did the same thing for Finger twice now. Did the same thing for Bed Bath & Beyond. And many others. And as I have time to go back and find those little snippets, I'm going to add to the Pump and Dump Diary playlist on YouTube. The point is not that we hate any of these companies. The point is, if you're trading them, and I do sometimes, I traded BBBY, for example, you must understand the chart, get in cheap, sell into run-ups, and if you want to exponentially increase your chance of success or avoiding failure, you must also understand the financials. You know, my biggest mistake in 2021 into the beginning of 2022 with AMC was not really caring about the financials. Didn't need to. The company had a couple $1 billion in cash. And we were fairly confident that the movie industry was going to come back, but it didn't come back as fast as we thought, and they started burning that cash. If we had been paying more attention to the financials earlier, now I did start, once I kind of saw, oh fuck, man, cash is starting to get dangerously low here. Around mid-2022, we started talking about the financials. It was kind of too late at that point. But that was like a key learning. Like all of these short squeeze tickers generally are being shorted to have a high short interest because they're bad. Something fundamentally wrong with them. And that doesn't mean don't trade them. What it does mean is manage the size of your risk. Don't put your whole life savings into BBIG or MMTLP. No income. Disclosed dilution. Disclosing that the company is going to be delisted and taken private. Like, what the fuck were these people thinking, MMTLP? Why the fuck would you hold that stock? Bed Bath & Beyond, clearly going bankrupt. Toxic debt, dilution, convertibles, whatever the fuck they had. Clearly in the filings. These people just churning new shares out there, hundreds of millions every day. And the BBIG guys, I don't understand why, and not BBBY, I don't understand why it keeps going down. Because you're getting diluted. We've shown you the freaking filings. Oh no, you're a shill. Shut up. There's a book written by Ryan Cohen with the teddy bear on it, Tony. My DD's better than yours, Tony Denaro. All right. All right. Matt says, what levels? What levels do we like on Tesla? I'm going to be really greedy on Tesla. However, if we look at the most recent support zone, I'd say, you know, anything probably under about 240 would definitely pique my interest. 240, 245, 250. If I were lucky enough to get that, if, you know, If I could get lower than that, great. I might start buying around this level and then see if it holds up. You know, a lot of times when I go in on a, not a lot of times, but half the time, you know, we draw a box here for the demand zone, but the company news is worse than the demand zone. So it doesn't matter. You could have boxes all day long right here. But if the news from the company, like Elon and Trump fighting, is so bad that people get discouraged or start becoming fearful about the future of Tesla or the future of their earnings, then you could go below that. And then, you know, where's your next support? Down here? 180, then 130, then 100. So I start buying in this box. I don't go all in, because if it goes down, I will keep adding. You guys have seen me talk about other tickers. You can see my first buy, and then it drops, and I'll buy more. And if it really drops, I'll double my position size then, if I still believe in the company. All of this you have to filter based on, is it news driven or did something fundamentally change in the company? If you still fundamentally believe that long term it's going to be okay and it's just a bad news cycle, hey, double up. How will those automated taxis and trucks get on in Texas? We have Waymo vehicles here now, Dan. I have not tried any of them out. My son said he has around campus, around downtown. And then Tesla is anytime now, I think, supposed to be unleashing their fleet. I'll go down there and try it out. As soon as you tell me that they're ready, I'll take the wife down there and we'll go bar hopping. No, I can't do bar hopping. I'm not drinking. What can we go hopping? We'll go see some sights downtown and take the Tesla taxi. I think they'll get on just fine, Dan. I think they'll get on just fine. Anya says, after the Cybertruck, how will Tesla recover? I think right now, guys, this is a beautiful time for me to start doing regular, ongoing coverage of Tesla, because here's a couple reasons why. I haven't been covering because it was overpriced. It was peaking. Now we're entering a cycle where there's volatility, where there's a chance it could come down to a price that we really like, and where there's news to talk about every day. We got to start talking about Tesla on a daily video, maybe a daily live, because this is exciting times, unless you bought at 400 or 500. For people like me, just waiting for a juicy price drop, this is beautiful. Ice cold water. Yeah, let's start doing some regular coverage of Tesla. Man, I tell you what, besides all the other many stories of how this live stream started out that I had going on this week in my life, I was watching a couple of other tickers, GameStop, AMC, waiting for any news to drop. And it's just like, I'm going to turn into that skeleton on the bench, waiting. You know, I'm here waiting. No news, no news. Like, when are we going to get a fucking proxy statement? And then the other little meme stocks that I've been following this week. You guys remember Finger? We've talked about Finger for years on this channel, especially in the Discord. Many of you in my Discord and mediocres, self included, have been swing trading Finger for a while, and we especially loved buying it down here at $1. It's a highly volatile, shitty little stock. You can see I traded some back here in October. I bought at 484, sold at 624 2 days later. I mean, $1.40 gain in 2 days. I love volatile stocks like that. But once it starts, going down, stop. My last trade was when it peaked. And then I said for a year, they're going to fucking dilute. How do I know? Because the CEO said it and it's in every filing and they don't have enough cash. How do I know that? I read the financial statements. They did finally, after me saying this for a goddamn year, they finally diluted here and the bottom fell out. And then I bought again. I love that. Just use common sense, read the filings, be patient. It's not going to short squeeze. I don't care what Hambone, Flam Sham says about hundreds of billions of naked shorts. The short interest on this stock is 5%. It's not going to short squeeze. I am sorry to tell you. Doesn't mean that you can't profitably volatility trade it. We do it all the time. And I'm not talking about shorting. I'm talking about wait for it to be cheap at a moment in the chart. Understand the ticker, understand the financials so you can size your risk. You can understand the risk before you take the speculative trade, and then hope the chart goes in your favor. If you get a low entry, you have a lot less risk. As this was moving up, I was telling people on X, you might want to think about taking some profits off the table because it's about to peak. It ran up to $5 and then what? What happened? They diluted again. They just diluted in December, and now they diluted again with a $2.50 offering. And where did the price crash to? Just like I said. Here, Tony, you're wrong. Look at it. It's going up after they announced the dilution. The recent one right here. It went down and then it started going up for a couple hours. You're wrong, Tony. See, it's going up. I was like, I bet I'm more patient than you. Let's just wait a couple days. Let's be humble and realize that we might be wrong. And yeah, you were wrong. It went up for 2 hours. And then just like I said, right back down to 250. This was a little bit of hype. A nice bounce, but 250 is where the company valued their shares. So logic would tell you it's going to 250 until there's new news. And I'm still waiting for Flim Flam Ham the Sham. He said that Alibaba was going to be buying in at $10 a share. Where is it? Oh, it was just a rumor. Yeah, fuck your rumors. Lying to people is what that is. And all the people in his little circle, all of them pumping this stock, lying to people, lying to them about the shorts, not talking about the financials, lying about Alibaba, making up analyst reports with $22 price targets, all lies, and people fall for it. It's a shame. Doesn't mean we don't trade it though, because hey, if they're going to bid it up, I'm going to buy it cheap and then be patient. A lot of profitable opportunities if you just use your head and stop listening to these knuckleheads with their fake news rumors. JP says, I only play options and try to always take my profit when I see above 10%. The other day I made 400%. Beautiful. JP, I wish I had your discipline. I created a very early bad habit on options trading where I have a hard time selling them unless I'm up 50 or 100%. Now, part of my mentality when I take an options trade, maybe this is what I need to work on changing. Part of my mentality is I only take an options trade if I think I have a reasonable due diligence chance greater than, say, 65% chance of making 100% gain, which means I'm not buying options every day. I'm very selective about my trades. But a lot of times those trades were exactly right, and I was up 20, 30, 40%, and I didn't take the profit, and I wasn't right enough, and then it expires worthless. I need to get better at being willing to take smaller gains and maybe just increase the frequency of my trading. Use my same logic on stocks and apply it to options. Seems like a reasonable bit of self-advice. Tony, are you listening to yourself? You should think about doing that. Maybe write it down in your trading log and think about it over the weekend. Or I could think about it on my hike. Anya says, Europe won't allow Tesla cars in the cities. Dan says only the Cybertruck. Oh, speaking of Europe, Dan, over in your part of the world, did you hear that? I didn't know until someone retweeted it, but Mullen, getting back to Mullen for a second, they said, for all of you doubters, just you wait, launching in mass production in December, the Mullen RS, only in Germany. And they had a picture of a Mullen. You can go to their X for Mullen Automotive. They have a black Mullen 5 RS doing a circle on a roundabout for about 5 times, and then it exits stage left. Like, couldn't you got a better demo drive than doing 5 circles in a roundabout? And why only Germany? And how the hell are you going to get a mass production in Germany? Is it because of the homologation? Like, you can't get approved in any other country? Germany somehow has the most lax laws on pollution. Oh, no, wait, it's not going to pollute because it's electric. Huh. Just something to dig into. Why Germany? Are they really supportive of American EV companies? We need more EV cars here. And who's going to make it? Who's going to make mass production starting in December? Just a little tip. I screenshot that tweet so that I can file it in January for the SEC and get a whistleblower award for false and misleading statements. Got a whole folder of them that I'm building on Mullen. See, companies can say things, forward-looking statements, if they have a reasonable belief that something is true. But Mullen's been disclosing in their 10Qs that they have shelved the Mullen RS5 or Mullen 5 RS. So now all of a sudden you're going to tweet, for all you doubters, it's going to be a mass production in December. Yeah. How? Where's the 10Q notes? All right. Speaking of Europe, Anya wants to talk about the feud. Let's see what news we got here, Anya. Let's pull up. I'm going to pull up Fox News and CNN. And let's start off looking at the headlines. Let's see how fair and balanced they are. Is CNN better to look at, or MSNBC for the leftist viewpoint? All right, we got on Fox News, President fires back. Oh, wait, no, that's MS-13. Where's Elon? Snub of Musk's ally preceded sudden big beautiful bill criticism and Trump feud. Who did Trump snub? I don't recognize that guy's face. that NASA nominee, yeah, Mr. Isaacman. I remember some of the, I remember some people on X saying that that was going to be a big deal, Isaacman getting in, just like all of the other Trump appointees were going to be a big deal. So far, they've all just proven to be more of the same. We haven't gotten any headway on shorts, manipulation, fixing Wall Street, not one bit of headway. Anywho, I didn't think we would, but just saying. So far, I ain't got jack shit. A day after the White House held a farewell press conference for SpaceX and Tesla, Elon Musk to highlight his efforts as outgoing leader, Trump suddenly pulled Jared Isaacman as his pick. Oh, I didn't realize that he got pulled. I just thought that his nomination was having problems. It was pulled after a thorough review of prior associations. So is Isaacman, they call him a Musk ally. I don't know a lot about the gentleman. Here we go. His affiliations with Musk include being an investor in SpaceX, in addition to leading 2 private space flight missions with SpaceX. Wow. Including Inspiration 4. The 2021 Inspiration 4 was the first time an all-civilian crew orbited the Earth. Isaacman said he got a call from the White House on May 30th notifying him that the White House had decided to go in a different direction. He said he suspected his ties to Musk were part of the decision, noting the call came the same day as Musk's tenure with Doge concluded. All right, so yada, yada, yada. Where's all, I don't see a lot of rumor and gossip on here. About Trump and Elon. Here we go. On the politics page. We'll look at CNN in just a minute, Anya. I have not seen the Garcia news. Trump not interested in talking to Musk. Elon has totally lost it. He's totally lost it. No, that did not sound like Trump. I need to work on my Trump impersonation. Trump said he was not worried about Musk's suggestion to form a new political party. Oh man, did you guys vote in the poll? Elon's poll, if we should form a third party to represent the 80%? I think that poll was overwhelmingly trending towards yes. Although the system has built in a lot of protections for itself to protect the two-party system. So even if 90% of people voted yes, we should have a third party, unfortunately, the system, our political system, is designed to disenfranchise those people, make it very hard for them to have a voice or to move up into being a viable candidate. Anya says, I try to stay off Twitter. Best decision ever, Anya. Anything important that you need to know on Twitter, I'll post it in the Discord. And how often do I do that? Not that often. White House aides told Peter Doocy that Trump staffers might try to talk to Musk. On Trump on Trump social. On True Social, oh, did you guys see that DJT was diluting again? Did I see that correctly today? On True Social, Trump wrote, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I hit him in the eye. I said, get the fuck out, Elon. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. That he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. Elon calls Trump's endorsed big, beautiful bill a disgusting abomination. Well, Elon, Trump doesn't like it when you go against him. Just saying. Y'all were buddy-buddy as long as you were rowing in the same direction, Elon, and as soon as you took your paddle out of the water, Trump put a gun to your head and said, jump the fuck overboard, motherfucker. You're done. You ain't going to paddle my direction. Get the fuck out of the boat. And by the way, when you swim to that other boat, I'm going to sink that one too. Torpedoes away. Elon's going to say, oh yeah? Well, you know that dam I was building that's keeping all the water in this reservoir? We're going to decommission the dam. So your boat's going to sink too, Trump. You're going to go right to the floor of the lake and it's going to be a bunch of sand. Nobody wins in this situation. All right, let's see what CNN has to say here. Trump asked aides if they think Musk's behavior could be related to alleged drug use. Oh boy. Analysis. Who holds the cards? A tweet by tweet breakdown. I haven't even read all the tweets. But boy, oh boy, that Epstein list one. Ooh. Oh. If true, Trump, hey, Trump and Pam Bondi, why haven't we really seen the Epstein list? I mean, it is a good question. All right. I want to know if Elon's behavior over the last 48 hours of not agreeing with me on everything I do and say could be related to drug use. Maybe, Donald, he just has a different opinion that the bill is an abomination. Could be. I do remember Elon even tweeting something, say, forget about the EV mandate. Forget about that part. Just like this bill, besides that, it's still an abomination. Remind me in a minute, Anthony, Michael, to check on sound. I want to get through this article at least and talk a little bit about Trump and Elon. Gosh, it's already 11 o'clock. Trump says he's not wasting any time thinking about the man who 1 week ago was receiving a giant golden key in the office, although he did change the locks after he gave Elon that key, and then they broke up and he's like, I'm changing the locks, Elon. Your golden key no longer works. President told Dana Bash in a brief phone call he's not even thinking about Elon and he wouldn't be speaking to him for a while. Well, I mean, that's a tactic I commonly use too. Can't really blame Trump. You cross me, you're just dead to me. I don't think about you. I won't talk to you. I'll delete your phone number from my phone. I'll block you. It's a good tactic when someone crosses you. Friends, women, whatever. I'm scorched earth. Donald is too. I like it. But I don't believe him. I don't believe Donald because, I mean, I don't know. It's Elon Musk, Donald. somebody's going to extend the olive branch. Somebody crosses me, I say, take that olive branch and shove it where the sun don't shine. There's no coming back from dead to me. The one-way ticket to the train station. For all my Yellowstone fans. There's one thing I can't stand, gentlemen. It's when your girl breaks up with you and then you spend the next 2 months tweeting platitudes and no one else is going to treat you as good as me. If you ever change your mind, I'm still here. No, fuck that bitch. There's like 2 billion other ones out there, dummies. Learn to embrace scorched earth, gentlemen. And ladies too. I mean, if your man's being bad to you. See a lot of wishy-washy women too. Oh, I'm just going to take him back because, you know, why? Why are you taking him back? Well, you know, we have a 5-year history. He hits you. But I love him. You need to learn some scorched earth, lady. Block, delete, move. Anya says Trump flew on Epstein's plane several times. I think I might have seen that, Anya, in the logs. Talking to reporters on Air Force One Friday night, Trump said he would take a look at canceling some of Musk's government contracts. Possibility had floated on Truth Social. I mean, Trump is good at lobbing little firecrackers to try and scare you. And, you know, I wouldn't put it past him of actually following through. I think it's a negotiating tactic, but if Elon doesn't bite, he's crazy. He's liable to cancel some contracts. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Scorched earth. What made Trump and Elon feud? Michael says, we think the genesis of the problem was when Elon decided this big, beautiful bill was an abomination. And he got off of the Trump train right then and there. He's like, no, I don't agree with this. And Donald likes yes men. Can we be frank? He likes people that agree with him. He does not like people who don't agree with him. He does not like them to the point of being merciless. Tough job. You got to be a yes man for 4 years in that administration. He even turned on Pence because Pence didn't agree with him on some stuff. Donald basically turned on everybody. Who hasn't he turned on? Ooh. There's probably, if Dr. Zeno was around, he's our resident psychologist, there's probably a term for a personality like that. I'm waiting for someone to type it. His horns came out. That is right, Michael. The Times reported that Musk was using drugs far more intensely than previously known as he rose to prominence in Trump's inner circle, using ketamine often. I barely even know what ketamine is. Is that something for ADHD? Or what does he have? Autism? Grok, what is ketamine? I know it's a drug. I know I've seen all the jittery Elon. I don't know much about illicit drugs, guys. Sorry. What is ket? It's an anesthetic used for sedation, pain management, and inducing anesthesia. Recreationally, it's abused for hallucinogenic and euphoric effects, also called Special K. Wow. Hornet says it's a vet tranquilizer. I'm trying to remember when I had my, my 55, that procedure all men are supposed to get when you turn 50. I forget what sedative they gave me. I think, what's the one that killed Michael Jackson? That's whatever that was, that's a common sedative that they give in vet clinics and hospitals. Because my wife said, oh yeah, we use that all the time. I was like, well, I hope they don't overdose me like they did with Michael. What the fuck is that called? What? Not adrenaline. Propofol. Propofol, if I recall correctly, is a common anesthetic also. Anyways, I woke up fine. I guess the anesthesiologist did her job. Ketamine, huh? Using ketamine often, the article says, sometimes daily and mixing it with other drugs. Musk acknowledged he took a small amount of ketamine to treat negative moods under a prescription, but that a heavy workload prevented him from using too much. I don't know. I would just be speculating, but I've seen some pretty spaced out live videos of Elon Musk looking like he's not all there. He still gets shit done, though. Here's what Anya was talking about. The Justice Department announcement late Friday afternoon that Kilmar Abrego Garcia has returned to the U.S. to face criminal counts began to shift the narrative. All right, we got something new to talk about, Anya. A tipping point for Trump and his advisors was Elon Musk's tweet linking President Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think Elon just knows, I think we've seen that Trump was on the flight list. Is that all that Elon knows? And he was just sticking him with a barb? Or does Elon know more? What do you guys think? Did he have special access through Doge to... Or maybe he heard some rumors around the coffee machine in the Oval Office. Michael McCall says he's worried that the prolonged fight between Musk and Trump could become a distraction for getting Trump's agenda passed. But he says he has it on very good intelligence that the two men would soon settle their spat. Elon spent $290 million to get Trump and Republicans elected last year. Wow. Somehow long red hair on my arm. All right, so I think that is it for Elon and Trumpy. We'll see what other developments happen this weekend and anything juicy. I'll put out a video or another live stream. Let's see what's going on with this dude, Kilmar Garcia. Maryland man, Anya, that's in your neighborhood, mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Oh yeah, I remember hearing about this story. Has been returned to face federal charges. Mistakenly deported. Conspiracy to unlawfully transport illegal aliens and unlawful transportation of illegal aliens. Thousands of aliens. Wow. I haven't really paid much attention to this case. I mean, I heard about it in headlines. I'm more following financial news than some. Is this guy an immigrant or a U.S. citizen? I'm more following financial news than some guy that got deported to El Salvador. I don't really care. But apparently a lot of people do. All right, we want to look at Soun, S-O-U-M, before we sign off tonight. S-O-U-N. I definitely remember this ticker. It must have had a, did it have a run up? Is that why I remember it? Couple of them. Damn. Damn, Gina. 98 cents in 2022 up to $25. Back down to 666. Currently trading at 10.11. All right, let me pull some numbers on this one real quick, because I'm curious. I know we've looked at this before, but I don't remember. I try and remember all of these as soon as I look at them, but there's only so many pages in the stack. Then we get a stack overflow. Revenue. Wow, look at that revenue. Beautiful. Net income. Womp, womp, womp. Not so beautiful. That's probably why I never bought this stock. Never made a profit. Operating income. Going the wrong direction. There's a reason why I forgot about this stock, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the chart, the financials are a travesty. But we're going to keep going. Shares outstanding. Look at that fucking dilution. They've diluted the company 5x since 2021. Ouch. Free cash flow, negative. All right. I got the gist. How about the balance sheet? Surely that's good. $245 million in cash. Shareholders equity is positive. That's good. And working capital is positive. All right. So a decent balance sheet, probably propped up by dilution, because they're losing 60 to 100 million per year in operating cash flow plus capex. No, there's no capex. Yeah, look at all this money coming in from issuance of common stock. One other thing to look at, debt. How much debt do they have? Long-term debt? None. All right, well, that's good. That's good at least. But they need to turn around the income. So then we go over and see if there's any analysts covering this stock and what projections do they have, because I don't have time to listen to every company's earnings or guidance, and I'm trusting that if there's more than one analyst that they have done so. We got 7 analysts covering this stock, and their 12-month projections have an average price target of 11, a high of 18, and a low of 7. Let's see how old these predictions are. May, April. All right, so we got a variety of opinions. We only got one fucking shill here from H.C. Wainwright with a super high price. I would next look, if this was me, and I do this, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I would look and see if H.C. Wainwright is the sales agent that Sound uses to facilitate their at-the-market offerings. Because a lot of times these shitty little companies like H.C. Wainwright will put out overly bullish price targets to convince investors to buy up the dilution. And H.C. Wainwright is I put them in the category of being guilty of that. So I'm going to cast out this price target. That leaves us with 12, 15, and 10. Plus this guy's got a 1-star rating. He sucks. We got James, Daniel, and Gil, all with at least 4 stars. We got 10, 15, 12. So, I mean, even at $15, that's a 50% gainer over the next 12 months. All right, so we know their price targets. Now, the last thing we do, this is how you do a 5-minute sanity check. We looked at the financials. We looked at the analysts. I want to see, why are they giving these price targets? Is there some hope here in their forecast that the company is going to have positive earnings? And I see that for fiscal year 2025, the analysts are estimating a consensus of positive 10 cents, but then negative 23 next year. What the fuck? Come on. That's not a great story. I want to see positive 10, then positive 23. What is this negative 23 nonsense? Revenue forecast to grow, earnings, not so much. I would say, the financials say this is a yellow flag. The chart says it's a beautiful stock over the long term and might be a good speculative stock if you got in cheap. But what happens next time they need to raise money? You don't want to be buying at the top. I don't know. There's no PE ratio because they have no earnings. When they do have earnings later this year, the PE ratio is going to be 96. I mean, this is not a me stock. This is not for me. There's nothing about this still for me, even though I will say all day long, 98 cents, $1.88 to $25. Hey, God bless you if you were lucky enough to get that. You speculated and you won, but it's looking pretty scary up here, even at $10. A 96 PE ratio, just because they got the word AI. AMC needs to rename themselves AMC AI Incorporated. It's like an automatic doubling your stock. I see y'all are still talking about the illegals and the crops. Oh boy, I ain't getting into all that. We built the wall, and I think we're enforcing the wall, and that's good enough for me. From what I hear, we got plenty of National Guard and others down on the Texas border. And I haven't been hearing my governor complain about needing to bus people up to New York. Governor Greg Abbott. Wow. Fat. Look at that. PHAT. Fathom Pharmaceuticals. Oh, well, there you go. Pharma company. You get one bit of good news in a pharma company and it goes to town. What was the news? They got an upgrade from Guggenheim. They got an FDA approval for Voquenza. FDA approval for Voquenza exclusivity. 10 years. All right, well, there you go. The problem with pharma, the reason I don't talk about them much is you got to become an expert in everything that these companies have under trial, that's not my area of expertise, and I don't know that I have the time to dedicate to becoming a pharma bro. And even then, it's kind of like buying a junior miner, Hycroft or any of the other 100 junior miners. Maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't. I heard a career successful gold and silver investor say this week, you can't play just one. You can't play. He wasn't talking about Hycroft, but I'm looking at you Hycroft investors. He said, if you're investing in gold and silver juniors, you cannot invest in just one, because you don't know if it is going to come through, or if it does come through, he said, I've seen them take 10, 20 years, and they're having to raise money to get the project to the next step. You don't want to be in those. He said, you got to spread your money around, find the best of the best in the juniors, and then spread your bets out. And, you'll have one that does a 10 or 20x that will make up for the others that you lose on. Pharma is kind of the same way in my viewpoint. If you have the time to dedicate, there's money to be made if you're a good researcher and maybe you have some medical background. I don't. I got a lot background in a lot of things. I haven't even played a doctor on TV. I was in a hospital bed. No. I was not in the bed. I was in a movie. I was the father of the injured party in the bed. I haven't played a doctor. I need to work on that. I've played a policeman. Anywho, we digress. The biggest, I'm just going to share one last thought with you. I get my eyeballs on many pharma plays. Usually when they're circling the drain and I see people grasping at any straw. Yeah, but if just this FDA approval comes, okay, I'll take you at your word. If just, let me go read the company's document. Oh wait, they're only in phase 1? Like you're saying if just, and you got 7 more years ahead of you and you're already circling the drain? Buddy, come on. You fell in love with the wrong company. Cut your losses, move on. Michael says, did you buy Pfizer when shares was lower and they're going to ask for FDA approval? I have not bought Pfizer recently, although there have been a few stocks where I had alarms set and they were going off so much that I turned them off. Pfizer was probably one of them. I have my red line where I want to buy Pfizer. Anything below right here, today's price. Should have bought at 20, but I set this line a long time ago that if Pfizer ever came down to it, that I would like to buy it at that. Wait, is that my line or is that the closing line? That might just be the closing line. Anya, do you remember what price we were trading Pfizer at back in the day? All my notes are gone. I did trade Pfizer before. Anyhow, even if that is not my line, we got support right here. Whoops. And yeah, then I'd need to see the news. We're at $10. Next resistance around 26. We're at $23. Next resistance around 26, then 29. I'd need to go spend a weekend on it and see. What do you think? Is it gonna see 40, 50 bucks again, or was that just COVID era shit? Let's just see. Let's just see real quick. Last one. So I don't have to do all the work. Some analyst has already looked at this. Average price target 29, high of 45. They haven't updated since April, but they're all at 25 bucks, which, I mean, it's basically trading right there. So we'd need to see what news has broke since end of April to change our mind. Revenue forecast is generally down. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super excited based on what I'm seeing here to jump in Pfizer. I want to see earnings and revenue forecasts that go up and to the right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is 11:30. Speaking of up and to the right, let's end this one with a banger. Should we do green candle up, red candle down, or should we do up and to the right? Which song do y'all like better? Fuck it, let's do them both. See y'all tomorrow.
A red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going on. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Up and red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, GameStop's rising, going strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going long. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone, but the shorts we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Up and to the right.
Hello, millionaire. Short squeeze plays where fortunes flip. GameStop's journey, an epic trip. From humble roots to the moon we fly. A company's dream will amplify. Ready warriors, keyboards in hand. With their eyes on the prize, they took a stand. No one's selling, we're here to fight. How does it go? Up and to the right. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It's us on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Can't stop on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar, molasses in sight. Hedge funds trembling, Kenny's in shock. GameStop stock, it'll never stop. From diamond hands to rocket ships, we're not selling, we buy every dip. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. Up and to the right, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Up and to the right, molasses in sight. Billions in cash on the balance sheet. We will win even if they cheat. Dilute us more, we don't care. Book value grows with every share. The doubters say it can't be done, but the retail army we've already won. With every share we'll never stop. Investors say we love the stock. Up and to the right, we're in for the ride. It stops on the rise, it can't be denied. Up and to the right, through the day and night. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. We're in for the ride. Together we'll soar. Up and to the right.
Surprise!
We're gonna win.